job search
Oh,
and
yeah.
graduate school applications.
Yeah, this is career coach 101 here.
Yeah.
This is like you were in it.
So that's important
Yeah.
to know that you can use those skills, and not only use those, but a tip is that you can put that on your resume.
So having that connection to yourself and to your family and your relationships helps make you want to help other people.
Hello and welcome to Career View Mirror. I'm your host, Joyelle Crawford, and today I have Kirsten White, who is the founder and owner of Kirsten White Photography. And she and I met under creative circumstances. We were talking, I was talking to the International Association of Women, the Philly chapter, about professional branding and personal branding. And we had a good chat, and I was like, oh, you need to be on my show. Just hearing your story and knowing what you've done as a solopreneur, especially hearing now what's going on in the time of the pandemic. I would love to talk to you more about just how did you get started in your career photography?
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to tell my story. I always had photography as a hobby. This was my outlet and fun, my creative fun. And I started doing it more and more after I graduated college, taking a lot of pictures. But I started it as a business about 10 years ago.
Okay.
2010, I started while I was still teaching. I was a fourth grade teacher. I taught fourth grade for 15 years. And I did photography on the side. And it was a fun way to still be creative, have a little extra money. I have 2 children, college was coming and they're back to back, they're a year apart. So it was just a way to kind of still enjoy myself in my passion, make a little extra money. And I said, well, when it gets to be too much, when I can't juggle the time, because of course, I had summers off, I had reasonable hours during the week, but sometimes depending on the project, you need more time. And I also travel and do destination shoots. So when it became too much to juggle, I said, that's when I'll stop. I chickened out a couple of years. You think of the job security, the benefits, all of that. And while the photography was doing really well, entrepreneurship, some months are fabulous and some months are a little bit less fabulous.
Yes.
So when it came time to sign the contract for the next year, a couple times I chickened out and I signed. So I said, okay, let me really build this up. And so that's what I did. So anyone who is looking to go into a full-time entrepreneur situation from your job, just prepare. I mean, save as much as you can, but it'll never, no matter how much you save, it'll never be enough.
Never enough.
You'll spend it up.
It's never enough.
But you'll feel more comfortable and confident the more you have put aside. Okay, so plan your exit. Then I started in 2016. After that school year ended, I resigned and went full time with my Kirsten White photography.
What was that pivotal point? Because I have a point where it was just like, I have to make this move. Like I need to make this decision, because you said you got in your own way a couple of times. Mm-hmm. What was that career, when you look in your career view mirror, what was that pivotal point when you said, Kirsten, I need to move on and move forward. This is no longer a side hustle. I need to make this my main hustle. What was that?
There were 2 things. I'm very, very connected to God. Mm-hmm. I pray over my business. He guides my business. Mm-hmm. It got more and more uncomfortable in my full-time job, which was new. That I hadn't experienced that before. But when you're supposed to move and you're hesitating, sometimes signs will come and things will just start to get uncomfortable there. Mm-hmm. So I experienced that. And I also started meeting the most fabulous people who would refer me. I would have clients that would shoot with me repeatedly, like on an annual basis. They would refer friends and family. I mean, I was almost overwhelmed with business. So this is happening at the same time. I'm getting uncomfortable during the full time, and I'm getting so many requests. I'm actually turning away people because I couldn't do it all. I'm working on weekends,
Mm-hmm.
weekends and evenings. I couldn't do it. So that also helped me get confident that, you know what, the phone is ringing. People want what I'm doing. So those two things made me confident enough to know it's time.
So business opportunity was knocking, and
Mhm.
you finally got you got so fed up with the discomfort that you wanted to move forward to,
Yes.
and change is always uncomfortable,
Yep.
but that discomfort was worse than the unknown of moving
Right.
into the business.
Right.
Okay.
And also the women that I was meeting, they were doing fabulous things.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, I can too. And people were encouraging me. They're like, why are you sitting on this gift? Why? And I'm like, oh, I'm not, because I'm still doing it. I'm like,
Right.
no, you're playing with it.
Yeah, you had your
You're
toe
really
dipped in
playing.
the
You're dabbling. You're
pool.
dipping your pinky toe in there.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
jump in. So I said, let me do this, because what's the worst that can happen? I still have my degrees. I'm still certified. If it doesn't work, I'll go hard for a year. If it doesn't work, I can always get another job. Well,
And now,
never
like
look
what,
back.
4 years later?
Yep, 4 years later, not looking back.
Oh, that is fantastic. Now, you said you have degrees. Did you get any type of certification? I know that you were a teacher for 14 years. Did you go to school for photography,
I
or
didn't go
was
to
this
school for
just
photography. No, I'm completely self-taught. I've taken a lot of courses and workshops and things like that, but I'm basically self-taught. My bachelor's degree is in marketing,
Mhm.
and my master's degree is in elementary education. So
Okay? All
no,
right.
no degrees in photography, but I love it. I love learning new
Mhm.
techniques, whether it's for the business end or the photography and lighting and just different posing techniques and things like that. So I love to do that. I just came off my favorite conference, the Portrait Masters, and learned so many new tricks. So I'm excited to infuse them into the business.
So tell me a little bit more about that. How do you feed your mind? How do you learn more? You went to you go to a conference. Do you go to several conferences, or how would one self-teach themselves, so to
Um,
speak?
there are conferences, online ones. Well, now they're all online,
Yeah.
but I would try to go to two or three
Mhm.
in person. And then I have memberships to different learning sites. There's YouTube University. And then there's also just trial and error.
Okay.
Take your camera out and shoot, see what works. When I was in high school, I used to like to mimic magazines. I'm still a magazine addict. And I would look at the photos that I loved and try to figure it out, what type of lighting, what angle is it coming from, and try to duplicate it. And that's a fun thing. I still do that sometimes when I see a look that I really love.
Uh-huh.
Okay, how can I put my spin on it? But you want to start with, well, what did they do?
Right. That's like
So what?
songwriting, like when I'm writing a song or something, and I'm kind of like, okay, well, what's kind of out there? Not without like, I'm not going to be like a Robin Thicke, or having any type of trademark infringement, but you just
Right.
kind of hear different things or use things as influences.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of that, like, did you have any influences as you were really diving further into the photography field and an industry?
Oh my goodness, there's so many talented photographers. I love Matthew Jordan Smith. His
Mm.
work is phenomenal. Atasha Jordan is phenomenal.
Mhm.
Loretta Houston, Sue Bryce. Um, there are several photographers that I love their work.
Mhm.
And Sue Bryce has an education site that I follow, and have learned a lot there about photography.
That's fantastic. Now, I do wonder, every industry has its challenges, breaking into different industries can be a struggle. So did you experience any challenges as you were breaking into the photography field, other than just like,
Yeah.
hey, little girl with your camera, isn't that cute? So, or hey, little brown girl with your camera. I mean, I don't know
There are layers,
of
yes.
many. Yeah. So what were some of the challenges that you were experiencing as you were breaking into the field of photography?
Breaking in was difficult. And photography is still a male-dominated field, and then add being an African American woman on top of that, can make things difficult. Um, Being older was a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
and these are things that I kind of put on myself, because when I look back, it doesn't make a difference. From a client's perspective, they only care about how you make them look.
Right.
But the challenge of, okay, I'm older. Um, Now people are into really fast. They want fast postable things.
Ah,
And I moved from more lifestyle to portraiture, because I am very detail oriented, and I'm not looking, I'd rather give you the best quality wall art that you've ever had of yourself that will last for years and generations to come, than to give you 100 photos that are just okay.
meh.
Exactly. I want to give you something that you're going to cherish, and that your family's going to cherish, and your children and grandchildren will cherish. So I'm really definitely quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
And a challenge in a field like photography is that a lot of things look good. And I liked a lot of things. So finding my style and my way was a challenge, because you're tempted, you're starting your business, you want to make money. So you want to do what's popular.
Right.
What are people paying for? But
Mm-hmm.
I realized over time that people will pay for what's important to them, but there are different people that want different things. I'm not putting down weddings or lifestyle or anything like that. It's wonderful. That's just not my gift.
Right.
And the more I started doing the work that I loved, those people were coming to me.
That is a really good point, and I want to reflect that back. Is that when you started focusing on what brought you joy,
Mhm.
the work just kept pouring in. And it's interesting because as you're trying to start your business, and you said you had all these challenges, being African American, being female, being maybe of a different age than what most photographers are, and having all of those challenges, just sitting back in your presence and your power and your passion, and just allowing the wave of abundance to come
Mhm.
to you.
Yeah,
It's almost like you surrendered to that thing that was getting in your way. Would that be correct to say?
that's absolutely correct. You hit it right on the head. I was given, I feel like this is my purpose. Um, this is what I'm here to do. And when I relax in that, things just flow.
Mm,
It just flow. This is what I was put here to do. And particularly working with women, this is what I was put here to do. I've been there where you lose yourself in your career and taking care of your kids and taking care of everybody else. You kind of lose yourself. So having
mhm.
a woman come in, and I pride myself on giving them a luxury experience. They're going to be catered to. The 3 to 4 hours you spend in my studio, you feel like the star that you are.
Ooh, I love that. See, now I need to get into that studio, get myself masked up, and come down there,
That's right. That's right.
because that just sounds fantastic. And as you can see, I've got a lot of wall space that
Yeah,
I need
that fill
to
up. Yes.
up. It's not gratuitous to want to have a portrait of myself in my office.
No, it's not. And that's the big thing that we have to get over. It's okay to invest in ourselves. I'm a
Mhm.
giver. I mean, I am a giver.
Me too.
But I've learned
Givers
that the more
Anonymous.
that I take care of myself, the
Mhm.
more I can give to others, because I feel happy, I feel fulfilled, and I have great relationships and family. My husband's amazing, but there's some things that you can just do for yourself.
Mhm.
It's no one else's responsibility to make you happy. That's yours.
That is the truth. That is the truth. It's no one else's responsibility to make you
Right.
happy. Right on.
And I'm not trying to be a martyr. When
Mm.
I need to rest, I need to rest. That's a human thing. So I think women need to normalize taking care of themselves and investing in themselves.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. I had some additional health challenges. That was something that was getting in the way. And, starting to put myself first, I realized that, growing revenue and growing influence and, impacting people, yes, that's important to my business model, but growing energy is also important.
Yes.
So that is something I learned very, very strongly, is that rest piece and having the energy
Mhm.
to be, the person that I need to be to support my clients. And it sounds like you're in the right spot there too.
I
So
guard that time. I have my self-care days.
I was going to say, what fills your cup?
Guard-
So you've got your self-care days. What else?
Oh,
What does that look like?
massages.
Ooh.
I love massages. I have the best massage therapist. Um, Her name is Mimi Gauman, and she is over at Hand and Stone in Philadelphia, Logan Square.
Mm-hmm.
I see her weekly. I get my hair done weekly. I just enjoy laying back and being spoiled. So Tuesdays are my days for those things.
Okay.
Also, I take time on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm still learning. I've come a long way, but I'm still learning, to take that private time and maybe I love Words with Friends, just to play a game on your phone, something that you enjoy, or to read a book. I love to read, but I had stopped reading, like reading
Yeah.
for pleasure. I was
Yes.
reading about equipment.
Right. Reading for
About
work and your
work.
industry. Yes.
Mhm. But just to read for pleasure,
Yeah.
that's something else that I'm starting to do more of, because it's a process. I'm unlearning many, many years
Mhm.
of not giving to myself. So I encourage that. I really do. And it looks different for everyone. Some
Yes.
people it's exercise. I invested in a Peloton, so I have that.
Ooh la
Um,
la.
right. So it can be, some people shop. That's their thing. Whatever your thing is that makes you feel happy, indulge.
I think that's so, so key to make sure that you're doing that, because especially now that we feel like we have to be on 24/7 and cranking it out and rising and grinding and all the hats that we wear, now we've got to wear them all the time.
All the
At
time.
least we had like some separation in the day.
Right.
That doesn't happen anymore.
It doesn't. It doesn't happen as much. And yeah, the days just roll together.
Mhm.
We had the quarantine, and now then we get into the try to catch up mode, where you're trying to catch up for that lost time. And that can be stressful as well. So, learning balance, so important.
Indeed, indeed. So, one question that I wanted to ask you is if you could share one or two career or leadership tips with the past you a few years ago, what would they be?
Definitely boundaries. Definitely boundaries, particularly when it comes to relationships and friendships and work. I'm not going to say that you can't work with friends or people that you've known for a long time, but you do still need to have your boundaries as far as payment,
Yes.
um, how much is given, just the same details that you would go over with a stranger client. If they're using your business, it needs to be professional. I had a block where it was difficult to deal with the money part with someone who's close to you.
Hmm.
It can be a difficult conversation. And I had to learn how to do that. You have to put your big girl pants on and stick to your boundaries. And also realizing that some people aren't going to like what you do. Some
Mm,
people will love it. Some people won't. And that's okay. Just because I'm not offering what you want doesn't mean I can refer you to someone that can offer you what you want. But being okay with that is something that I wish I learned sooner.
that is so true, because I think that I don't know what year or age you get to where you realize that you can't say no, or you can't create those boundaries. Like, I don't know where that is. I'm still trying to figure that out, but that is such a key piece, is creating that space, almost like a force field to protect yourself.
Right. Protect yourself and your business, because people only
Yes.
take your business as seriously as you do.
Mm-hmm.
And while you think you're being nice, you're actually devaluing your
Yes.
business.
Yes. And you're, and you know, and that looks like all kinds of forms, like working extra time. You know, I've talked to my clients all the time about, you know, if you work 40 hours a week and you get paid for 40 hours a week and you don't get overtime, every hour you work over 40 hours, you're devaluing how much you're getting paid per hour.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and the same thing goes for how much energy you're putting out, you know. It's so key. It is so key.
Yeah.
So any other words of wisdom about your career that you wish that you could share with our audience, you know, with, especially with maybe myths or things like assumptions that people make about photographers that that you wish could be busted?
It's not the camera. There's skill involved with this. There's no magic camera. Just like, you know, I'm sure you've heard the sayings, you know, a chef, it's not a magic oven or magic pots. With photography, there is no magic camera. It's the operator. The photographer knows what to do with that piece of equipment. And, you know, you'll see people change from, you know, I'm a Canon girl. I love Canon.
Mm-hmm.
And some people love Nikon and some love Sony.
Mm-hmm.
They're just preferences, but the skill is learned. It's the photographer.
Oh, and that's important to know, because, you know, a lot of times, you know, you think that people have these magic, you know, magic cameras. It is the artist. You're the artist. You're seeing
We see
the
things
image.
differently. Yep.
Yeah, you see things in a different way, and that's your art. That is your creation there. That's
And you
fantastic.
see that because a lot of people, when cameras go on sale, they all go get a camera, and then they're a photographer, and then 6 months later they're gone because they realize that it's a lot more work. It's not the camera.
Yeah, you know, I try to be Ansel Adams with my phone and everything, and it's not. Yeah, it definitely takes a lot more skill to do what you do, and you do it very well. I'm excited to know what projects you're working on. Are there any projects that you're working on in the horizon that you can tell our
Right
audience?
now I'm working on a fabulous 50s project, and I'm specializing, kind of focusing on women in their 50s and just showing how fabulous we are. And it's not the end. I remember being younger thinking 50 was so old.
Yes.
Until I got there.
Yeah, and I'm almost there too. So
I turned 50 last year, and I said, wow, things are getting really good. I mean, I think you make your mistakes in your 20s, you start getting it together in your 30s, your 40s, you get into a nice groove.
Yep, you got the groove.
Yeah, by 50, you really know what you're doing, and you let go of a lot of things that were weighing you down, and you're able to really just thrive. So I'm having a good time, and I'm having so much fun with the ladies because, you know, we all graduated high school and college around the same time. So the playlists are awesome. But yeah, we're doing Fabulous 50s, and they come in and they have the shoot. And my plan was to do some sort of exhibit, an event, but COVID is kind of, you know, tweaking that. But I'm still going to do something to honor the women, whether it's next year having the actual in-person exhibit. But I'm putting together a coffee table book, magazine, and featuring their story, what they've learned, words of wisdom as they've gotten into their 50s, and their messages to their younger selves. And of course, you know, we have the photography. They come in, we have their playlists, we have 3 outfits, we do the shoot, they have hair and makeup done, we do the shoot. It's beautiful. I include 1 image, and then they can purchase more. And 1 image is featured with the project. So it's really exciting. I'm having a good time.
That's fantastic. And is it a challenge, with the pandemic going on? Do people find that, are they a little hesitant to come into the studio, or is everything?
Actually, no. I'm surprised because thankfully no one that had booked before, no one canceled. We just had to reschedule. But opening up, we do have all of our precautions in place. We're following all the guidelines, temperature checks, questionnaires. I have my mask on, hair and makeup, they have their mask on. Um, I used to have kind of a buffet out. I have refreshments and drinks and things like that. I can't do that anymore. Everything's got to be packaged
Yes.
and individual. So that's a little different, but I still make sure they have a good time and they go home with a little something.
That's
So it's
fantastic.
nice. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a ball doing it.
Oh, and I'm sure that your clients are too. I mean,
Yeah.
how would we find you? Where can we look for you, Kirsten? Like,
My website is kirstenwhitephoto.com,
okay,
and I'm on Instagram as Kirsten White Photo, and Facebook is Kirsten White Photography.
all right. So if we put any of those into the internets or the
Yes,
interwebs, as we
yes, I
say,
will
on any
appear.
platform, maybe we'll appear. Well, I really appreciate your time today and your insight as you looked into your career view mirror and shared with us, the challenges and the successes and the future projects that you're working on. And it sounds like a fantastic start. I'm glad that you stepped out of your fear and moved past and moved forward into your passion.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful. And I'm having a great time.
Oh, me too. But I have to wrap it up, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I
Thanks for
hope that
having me.
everyone is listening and that they reach out to Kirsten and take her up if you're about to nearing 50 or you're in your 50s already. Are you still looking for folks, Kirsten, or are
Yes,
you done?
I'm going to keep going through
All
November.
right.
Hmm.
So she's still looking for subjects. Is that the lingo
Yep,
that we use in
you
the
got it.
biz?
Yep,
So she's
absolutely.
still looking for subjects, and what a wonderful person to work with and know. Thank you very much, Kirsten, and thanks everyone for watching and listening. And we'll see you again on Career View Mirror. Thanks for watching.